I feel so tempted to just crack this up.
No.
We're live.
I want to get the little...
We're live?
Yay! Okay, how do we start this again? Welcome to another episode of...
Live from New York! It's Saturday night!
Except we're not in New York and it's not Saturday night. Welcome everybody to another bonus episode of the Underbelly Hours, where we talk about basically anything we feel like talking about on that day, but also related to the music industry. We do our drink of the week, we do our jams of the week, and basically come as like unedited and what's the word for it?
Uncensored.
Uncensored.
Unadulterated?
Unadulterated? Yeah.
Is that the right word?
That's the right word.
Okay.
Yeah.
That for some reason in my mind also went to like, what is that term where you cheat on people? Adultery?
Adultery?
Yeah, being an adulterer.
Yeah, adulterer.
Yeah.
Unadulterated. I don't adulterer. I don't adulter. Officer, not adulterer.
Uncensored we are. And we welcome you to another bonus episode. Where?
Does adultering count if the guy's a cuck?
No.
No.
Because that's consensual.
Because that's consensual.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The adulterer would be the bull.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah. No. Well, depending on if it's okay. If we're talking about like a woman, man,
And man.
is the cuck.
Yeah.
The
man's
adulteress would be the woman.
cuck. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Adulterer.
And then the bull is just the bull coming in like ramming her.
Oh my God.
These are the questions that the world needs to know.
Also, as a little bonus, interesting fact, for this bonus episode, we're trying out making a little public room on Clubhouse to see if any of y'all feel like stopping by and putting in your 2 cents while we talk about all of the stuff we're going to talk about today, which the big topic we have is kind of going to be centering around just musicians' kind of worries going into 2021 and what people are concerned about. And how we can maybe find solutions.
Oh my gosh, there's a pandemic going on. How do I play
them.
shows?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Have we never been through a pandemic before?
We've never been through a
Come on.
pandemic before.
Is this supposed to be like unprecedented? Like, oh my god, we've never done this before. Oh.
But, yes. In any case, though.
Sarcasm is my second language. Actually, it's my first language.
It's
so.
his definite first language.
Yes.
You are constantly sarcastic.
I'm kind of just an asshole.
But you're the friendly neighborhood asshole.
I am. I'm also a friendly.
I don't like the imagery of that. Hold up. Can we not do that? Let's not do that.
Welcome to the Underbelly Hours After Hours.
Ciao.
Take off your coat, stay a while!
Like listening to new music? Want to know a band before they get popular? Tune into the Underbelly Hours, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on WRSC 88.7 FM, and discover the best of local, unsigned musicians. Don't miss out on the next big thing. And, of course, it wouldn't be an Underbelly Hours After Hours without our drink of the week. So for today, Josh, you want to come over here and explain what our drink of the week is this week?
Two Brothers Artisan Brewing, based out of Warrenville, I think.
Yeah.
Warrenville, Illinois.
Warren.
I don't know if you should be
The
shaking
Village
that.
Warren.
Probably not. I'm going to regret it. It's okay.
Premium lager. Never had it before. Just kind of impulse bought it. Well,
Well, I like how
The
it's.
can is pretty.
The can is pretty. The font is very much. It reminds me of like the Brewers font. It's like a baseball
The
kind
baseball.
of
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
font.
yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that premium especially. But I don't think I've ever seen a Two Brothers beer without some kind of like fancy name, like Domaine DuPage.
yeah.
Or-
That's what I was honestly looking for.
Yeah.
But this is just premium.
This is a premium lager.
Maybe it's the best.
Premium.
Follow your passion. Drink ours.
Okay.
That sounds.
Ready? Although I should probably put
Sounds
this by my
sexual.
mouth because it's gonna explode.
Well, don't spray it all over your face.
Well, but, I don't know what you're gonna
If you do it, make sure you're looking at the camera. Alright, ready? 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
Hey, it didn't blow up.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Ding.
Jinx, you owe me a beer?
Alright, here you go.
There's like
Is it?
11 more or whatever.
Thank you.
Shotgun and move on. All right, so
I like
yeah, we
that.
should describe it a little bit because we're beer connoisseurs, don't you know?
Apparently now we are.
I actually am not, because every time I open a beer and taste a new one, like I told Josh earlier, my first response is always, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to describe beer.
Yeah.
This one
maybe-
seems lighter,
It does. It's much lighter than the stouts we've done
Yeah.
for most
but I feel like
of
that's
these.
not saying that. I feel like that's saying the sky is blue.
Right. It is.
Be like, oh wow, what a crazy revelation. Oh, lager
I really
is
like
lighter
the
than
fact
a
that
stout.
though that it's like it's not super bitter. I mean, again, maybe this is another kind of obvious thing, but I feel like it's not very hoppy at the aftertaste, which I really enjoy. It's kind of smooth.
It is smooth.
It's got a nice smooth finish. And yeah, I feel like I can drink more of these faster. Again, just stating the obvious. It's not as stout. It's not as thick. Boyd. So.
Previous experiences with lagers, if I recall correctly, most of them, to me, taste like just a higher end Miller High Life.
Oh.
Some like
Interesting.
just piss water beer,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of light, but this has a much better flavor.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shout out any other lagers because I don't remember which ones I've had where it's like, oh, I'm basically drinking a Miller. But I feel like that's usually what I kind of associate lagers with. But so this is a pleasant surprise too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
the
it's
only
still.
one that I can recall is a Sam Adams lager. I feel like that's what they're really known for. At least that's like a lot of advertising that I remember seeing growing up.
Yeah,
It's
I don't like Sam Adams.
I
Every
like-
time I've had a Sam Adams, especially
okay.
like the summer
That's the only one I
shandies
like.
or
I was
whatever,
gonna say.
I'm like, it's not,
Summer
not even
shandy.
that for me.
I mean,
I don't know,
it's,
something about Sam Adams. It's just you're not my guy. I'm much more of a
Fair
Jack guy, right? Right, Jack. Or Andy Jameson. I like my J's.
not his S's.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, my J's.
Oh my
Smoke
God.
2 J's in the morning. Smoke 2 J's at night. And then there's a lot more J's in between, and so on and so forth. And you got a song. Thanks, Sublime.
Tasty.
Anyways.
It's tasty. I like it.
I dig.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
thoroughly
I feel like
enjoy
I could also probably really enjoy this with like a meal, whereas some stouts I feel like it's difficult. Like it's just so much of a full-bodied taste that I just like enjoy it on its own. And this
Yeah, it's like
this
a
feels like it'd be a
dessert beer.
good like complement to.
Yeah. I mean, some
Uh-huh.
stouts I've had where it's like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner right there.
Mhm.
Like, and I'm filled up for the day.
They're thick with a Q.
What about second breakfast?
Second stout.
Second stout. Yeah, I'll give it a good 8.5. I'm quite pleased. Quite satisfied. I need to stop doing this. All right, on to the music.
Now that we've drank some, we have to talk about some jams. Dan,
Some
would you like to
jammy
start? I
jams.
feel like I started last time. So, would you like to start?
I don't remember. I was probably drinking. Yeah, so let me start off with a bigger name that I've been enjoying recently. I'm still in love with the 60s and been living in that decade for quite some time, specifically 65 to 69, because that's where
That's where
music
some
really
good shit
just
happened. Yeah.
blew up.
Mm-hmm.
As far as dissecting into new genres and new soundscapes and new techniques and new technologies, it was like, whoa. So, if you haven't done it before, go through like 65 through 69. Great albums. One that I found my first pass through of all the great albums then was a album by Laura Nyro. It's Nyro. Laura, regularly spelled. And she put out an album called Eli and the 13th Confession, and it might be one of my favorite albums from the 60s. Like, top 5, for sure.
What's the like relative genre?
I have no idea.
Okay.
She's a songwriter, singer-songwriter. There's a lot of jazz influences, folk influences. Well, I mean, those are probably
The two predominant.
the two predominant ones. There's some swing, like big band swing type feels. And at the time, it got some criticism because of all the tempo changes. She utilizes a lot of crazy tempo changes, but in my opinion, they're super smooth, and when they hit, it's like, oh snap. All right, here we go. Different feel, different vibe. I'm getting this. Yeah, uh-huh. And then she'll go speed right back up, and you're like, I'm like, whoa, all right, let's go. Hey. All right. And her voice is just so dynamic and emotive, and there's so much passion and emotion behind every... And, yeah, she's amazing. She's...
What's the name again? Laura what?
Nyro. Nyro. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. At least that's how you pronounce it according to Wikipedia. And yeah, other albums are great too. I've yet to listen to anything of hers in the 70s, but her other albums that she put out in the 60s, pretty great. This one, definitely the standout album. Just every track is like amazing. So cool. It takes you for a ride. Every song, the whole album's super enjoyable. You know, go for a walk, put it in your earbuds on a nice sunny day. We're getting a lot more of those recently. And yeah, just jam out with Laura Nyro because it's awesome. A lot of her songs ended up becoming hit singles for other bands too.
Nice.
Like Blood, Sweat, and Tears had a huge hit with And When I Die, which was written by Laura. And then some other people too that I forgot because I read too much and I can't keep anything in my head. So that's what I've been jamming to on the bigger name field. Spectrum. Locally, though, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my faves because I feel like they're one of the very few bands that are representing that really nice, like, grungy, sludgy, new metal type sound.
It's like right before you go into like straight up metal, right? That's what they're like located right before the precipice of that, and it's just
the band is called By Design, and I think it's a 4-piece or 3-piece now maybe, but man, such sludgy riffs, such cool like breakdowns, and just the vocals get better every time. That's
what I was gonna comment on.
The melodies get super cool. Much more cooler every time. Not saying that they started out bad or anything. No. They just keep growing into great songwriters. New song, Blue Light, right? I said that, yeah.
I think that's right. Blue Light. Yeah.
Blue Light. Maybe their sludgiest yet.
I feel
that
like...
riff just like.
And then that nice little like. Midsection. I'm not sure if that's the chorus, but the section
like
where
the
they
chorus.
just like kind of break the time a little bit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Can we play a snippet?
Yeah, let's play a snip. Because I was gonna also comment that like back to the vocalist thing. I've noticed that I think her vocals are much stronger in this, like layered better into the mix, and I really enjoyed that. It's like the perfect place for them to be.
Like here it starts out kind of super compressed, and then it all just opens up.
And then right there, like it opens up a little more.
Here,
yeah.
Got me again.
Yeah.
I wish I had hair.
Oh, ooh, oh, wow, I really like
transition.
That transition was so nice.
Alright.
Because it just started like a drum, it just sounded like it was going to be a drum fill, and then, I don't know what he just did, the drummer, but it somehow led perfectly back into the same groove it was for the verse.
I think we said earlier, it's like Alice in Chains meets Chevelle.
I can see that.
It's like... So good work by Design. Everyone go stream them and follow them and like them, and hopefully soon live shows will return without scrutiny,
Mhm.
and we'll be able to see them.
I'll be in the front row. By design! Have a show by us, not by DeKalb, please, because it's kind of far. But if it's DeKalb, I guess
I'll
we'll
drive to
drive
DeKalb at
out
this
there.
point.
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere.
So good. I would like
I'll
to...
go to Texas.
Texas. Why Texas in particular?
Because I've always loved Texas. I've always loved Austin specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I started going down there for RTX, which is like the Rooster Teeth convention.
Right.
Back when Rooster Teeth was actually good. Now they're just a bunch of woke losers with no talent. Pandering. Anyways. Yeah, I fell in love more with the city. And like the consecutive years, I was just more looking forward to going visiting the city rather than the convention. And each year I spent less time at the convention and more
just
time in the city. And yeah, my whole plan was to eventually move down there, but now fucking Joe Rogan had to move down there and bring every motherfucker from LA, and they're gonna taint that place.
And it's gonna be more expensive.
It's gonna be so much more expensive, and it's just gonna be not what I mean. Hopefully, Austinites will be able to kind of be like, "Hey, assholes, don't bring your LA shit here." Hopefully, so hopefully it can at least remain, you know, the Austin that I fell in love with by the time I get down
Austin Dan loves.
there. The Austin I love.
No. Oh. Sorry.
And that's my little.
That's your love
Quick
story.
rant.
Yeah.
I love Joe Rogan, but also fuck you. Could have picked anywhere else, like Colorado. Come
That's
on.
true. Would have been a good choice for Joe, I feel like. But in any case,
Idaho.
all right. So that was by design.
Montana. Missouri.
I would like to talk about some
Massachusetts.
music, please.
Is anything in
Massachusetts?
Oh, wait, Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston. The forefathers of our nation. Or something.
7 years ago. Wait, that guy's from Illinois.
Yeah. Nice try.
All right, what are you listening to?
All right, so this week I was jamming to, because I was trying to get in the spirit to start writing more blogs for my radio station job. I did it every week for Black History Month. A black musician from Chicago who is just like really super instrumental in creating a specific sound, or just somebody who's really representing the music scene well. I want to do the same thing for women musicians for Women's History Month. And I was jamming because of that, like all week, to one of my absolute favorites, Mavis Staples. I don't know if you all know Mavis Staples, but I love her. Mavis Staples.
Mavis
Staples.
Staples.
Awesome.
She's amazing. Thank you. Yeah. So she's, if you don't know her,
I don't know her.
yeah. So she also
talking
kind
to
of
me.
hails from the '60s
Oh,
originally.
Okay. Well, I love her already.
When she was 11, she joined her family band called the Staples Singers, and they like created some incredible gospel music. They made really kind of big strides, especially in the civil rights era, with civil rights music. They knew Dr. Martin Luther King, and were like constantly making music that was sung at the marches during the civil rights movement. So she comes from a very rich background of music, and I've been kind of listening more though this week to a lot of her solo stuff, which of which I really recommend 2 albums. We Get By, which was released in 2019. It's got more gospel flavors to it, and also If All I Was Black, which was released in 2017, I believe. Both of those are fantastic albums, really great in their own right, and just her voice is so good.
Yeah.
It's like smoky, it's very like powerful alto, and incredible performer still to this day. She's 82 years old, and when she goes up on a stage,
still got it.
she like kills it. Her energy, like,
so she's like actually from the
captivates.
60s.
Yeah, like
I thought you just meant like her style and sound.
no.
Discover
She's
her.
like she's old.
She still got it.
But she's, she captivates people when she walks in a room, you know, like this tiny 5 feet tall lady. It's amazing. So yeah, love her. That's what I've been jamming this week. Totally recommend listening to her stuff. And she's also done some collaborations with a lot of contemporary artists too, which you can check out, like Hosier. She also has a song with Run the Jewels, which is super cool. So, but album, because I rant. If All I Was Black is one, and then another one. I just found out this week. We Get By is the other one that I highly recommend. As for jams of the week, more local music scene-wise, I would like to call attention to a band that's not new at all. In fact, they're on hiatus. But I was putting together a playlist this week for, again, the radio station, a local playlist just kind of centered around... Excuse me, I'm going to burp.
Look up at the light.
What?
I hear that
Look up at the light if you have to
Or is
burp?
that sneezes?
Oh, interesting. I'll have to try it next time. I feel like I want to burp. But I was creating a playlist of songs about like hometowns, and so I was looking up local musicians' songs about Chicago or like the suburbs and stuff. And they wrote a really nice song about Euclid Avenue, which is located in Berwyn, the place where they kind of, I think most of the band members live together at some point. And it's like a very nice song, very touching. And that whole album in general is super, super chill. I think it might be their debut from 2016, but it's really nice, kind of more smooth. I don't know, what do we call like calm rock music? Because it's definitely like chill, laid back. I hate the word alternative, right? It's not alternative necessarily. It's like what?
I would just call it chill rock.
Chill rock, I guess. Yeah.
Chill rock.
Just chill rock.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's descriptive.
It's rock.
It's
and
rock
chill.
and it's chill. It's
not
got very nice
alternative.
ambient kind of pedal usage in the guitars. That's cool. But yeah, I really enjoy them. Euclid Avenue is a song I'd recommend. In fact, Joshua, could we look them up? They're called Cardinal Harbor, and the song is called Euclid Avenue. I don't know how long they're on hiatus for, because I'm pretty sure the lead singer moved back to Pennsylvania. Where he's originally from with his wife, and they're actually the couple. Do you remember Veltway Sessions?
Oh yeah.
They're the couple who owned Veltway Sessions in Oak Park.
Wait, so they both moved?
I think they both moved because all their posts recently have been from Pennsylvania.
Well,
just a little sad, but it's just chill. You see?
Yeah, they're great. They're great people.
Mm-hmm. I also like his solo project, Hello Disco Porch, but I still don't understand what the songs are really about. I have to really look at those lyrics. They're very convoluted. You know what this song or this style reminds me of? Spotify coffee shop playlist vibes. That rock.
That rock. Starbucks rock.
Starbucks rock.
Star rock.
Buck rock. You know how to rock the buck?
Oh my god.
Well, the buck knows how to rock you.
That sounds like a fucking redneck genre though.
It does, actually. I turned it into something completely different. I'm not sorry.
That's like, we drive ATVs to that rock, you know? Anyway.
Hop on, sister. I mean, wife. I mean, sister. I don't know what to call you anymore.
Oh god. We get canceled now.
No. It's the people who are canceling people are on the left. They love making fun of rednecks. We're okay. As long as we don't start making fun of Biden, then we're good. You can't say Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
Or criticize him in any way.
Oh boy. Anyway, it just kind of like meanders like this. It's nice. I like it. It's good driving music too. Cardinal Harbor.
You know what it really would be great in? A Starbucks. Like just you walk in, you're getting your coffee. I'm so glad I thought of this because it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
You walk in, it's, you got that soothing music playing in the background. It's like, I need a frappuccino, percino latte.
I was gonna say grande americano. This is not like I feel like what you're describing has to be a little bit more pop oriented. This is like I'm gonna
Well,
get. I'm walking in with my
wasn't my
hipster.
idea, it
I'm
was
walking
yours,
in with my hipster beanie and my overalls, and I'm gonna get my 32-ounce Americano for the day because I need it.
Got my frames without lenses.
My frames without lenses. By the way,
I got my cuffed jeans. Got my. This is
gonna
gonna be
cuff
too
your
hard to
jeans?
bring my
Don't
feet
do
up
it.
on the camera.
dude, don't worry about
I'm
it.
gonna
Also,
pull something.
I feel like that beer will then certainly explode at some point.
I need this empty beer.
Anyway, Cardinal Harbor, love them. Also love Public Disc. If you want that kind of style, but a little bit more intense instrumentation and also puzzles for lyrics, check out Public Disco Porch. And I mean that in a nice way. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you know, they don't make any sense. But it's definitely something that you have to think about a little bit. So
You're just not intellectual enough to understand.
damn it. You've turned into a completely different persona when you look like this.
Yeah.
You're no longer sarcastic. You're just a pain in the ass. You know, you're like that guy who's super full of himself.
Yeah.
Who knows that he's like does everything right, but he's
Right.
not sarcastic about it. He's actually serious and
Like 80% of the
actually
music
wrong.
industry.
yeah.
Music, yeah.
It's true.
Calling you out.
Anyway,
Guitarist.
so that's it for the jams of the week. And speaking of music industry, actually, yeah, let's transition into the main talking point for today, which stemmed from this idea I had when, I don't know, I was scrolling through social media, and I just kind of felt like asking to the social media world through our Underbelly Hours streams or whatever, like what people were worried about going into 2021. This is probably like early January. I just wanted to see what people's thoughts were, and we got a few responses that indicated a lot of people were still kind of the main thing, of course, like with everything else, was about live gigs. You know, that's like probably a good 60% of the people who were responding back, talking about live gigs. But some of the other points still were interesting, so I thought we'd bring them up, talk about them.
Yeah, let's save the gigs thing for last, because that's probably
Right.
going to be the thing that takes up most of the time.
I think so. I mean, I'd like to talk a little bit about where we're at, too, because we have some links that we can bring up and where we're predicted to be at and all that other stuff.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so let's, I guess, okay, fine. Let's skip that.
I'm
leave
not
that
going
for
to have
last.
popular opinions on this episode.
That's okay. Hey, that's what this is for. We're supposed to be unadulterated.
Unadult. Well, I think we're successful at that, at least.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start maybe with the idea of losing momentum. So two people, I remember, kind of phrased this in different ways. One was Larry Anthony, who said straight up, like, losing momentum was his big worry for 2021. And a guy who goes by, I believe it was Jackie, not Jackie Frank Russell, it was a different Jackie, who also mentioned something about fear of, like, keeping up with a promotion schedule that makes sense now that there's a bunch of different, like, not a bunch of different, but there's an added element of social media, right? You got TikTok, and with all the, like, news coming out about COVID and all the changes, just worry about how do you get through the fact that a new album is coming out, for example, and not have it be lost in this, like, massive just stream of constant information that we're getting. You know. So I kind of wanted to start this idea of losing momentum with platforms in general. Like,
Yeah.
just talking about what do we think are the strengths of each platform, perhaps? Like, what do we think are things that work well on each platform that we've seen when artists use them and we've really enjoyed, you know? Like, I'll start with, like, Facebook, for example. I think Facebook, it's obviously really nice for longer posts because then you can kind of go into detail with things. But what people don't use that often, and what I wish people would use more often, and something that I just found out about this year is analytics about, like, your page insights. So you can not only see what posts are doing well with what kind of audiences, but you can also, in your page insights, there's a place where you can look at choose your competitors and see what other people are doing that's causing them to get more engagement on certain posts, which is super cool. I'm not sure if most people know that. So for example, let's say you're a rock band, right? You can look up one of your idols if they have a really good social media following, and kind of try and judge, okay, so this post of theirs got this much engagement, it was doing not well before, which of their posts that a big band is doing that aren't doing so well, and maybe try mimicking some of their strategies just to see if it works for your audience. I think it's something worth looking into, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, no. A little bit of skepticism, though.
I am always...
No, I know you
I
are.
always have
Yeah, right.
I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that lovable asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. Gonna be playing devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
What that could turn into is just a bunch of gimmicky copycats with no originality, because
True.
you're just always comparing yourself to something that you're inspired by but might not be entirely you, but now you see that's being successful, I gotta do that in order for me to be successful, and now I'm going to sacrifice everything that makes me to fit this thing that is going to
For sure.
at least put me in the algorithm, so maybe I'm actually seen by more than my mom and my best friends.
Ouch. Relatable.
I mean, that's to me just the biggest flaw with social media in general, is that algorithmic bullshit, because all of it has, in every facet of our culture, it's created just little bubbles of sameness.
True.
And there's nothing that can just be unapologetically you. It's either you fit in that bubble or this bubble or that bubble, and if you don't, you're getting dropped from being seen on people's feeds.
Agreed. To counter, though, I kind of would like to propose this idea of not using it to exactly copy what someone else is doing, but using it as inspiration to see what kinds of stuff seem to be more engaging to people. So, if you notice your band got a really good discussion going when they were saying, which of these albums have you guys preferred the most or whatever, and you're making an album release, right? Maybe you can do something like a game between your listeners of what single of mine do you like the most or something. That's a weak example because I don't know if people would be really into telling you which single they like the most, but you understand what I'm getting at, right? Looking at these people who are doing things well and saying, okay, this looks like it worked well for them. How can I kind of take my own spin on something similar to that idea? So you see them maybe making a TikTok. You don't make the same TikTok that they are making, but you're like, my type of humor is sarcasm, right? What if I just make some sort of sarcastic TikTok about my upcoming release in the sense of humor that I enjoy and that seems genuine to me? It's not something I'm trying to force myself to do, but it's something I've been inspired by because I saw this band doing it.
Right. Good points. Good points. Now let me be a cynic.
Sure.
Have you really seen people be that kind of creative online and taking that initiative to utilize something like that? Or have you really just seen the copycat type stuff?
I haven't seen too much of the originality. I'm gonna be honest, right? A lot of that is the camera's over there now. Okay, now it's back there.
Point devil.
I've seen yes. I have seen a lot of copycats come across because of it. However, I don't want to give up hope that as long as you can kind of distance yourself from that impulse to copycat something that looks like it's making people famous. Yeah. If you have the right mindset to stop that impulse, I think there's a lot we can gain from just being inspired by the creativity in social media that
100%.
people are doing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the social media algorithms, it gives you, and the whole point I brought up, the reason I brought up the whole social insights where it shows you which bands are doing well and stuff, is because maybe you don't want to use necessarily that example, that page where you see how well the bands are doing compared to each other, but there's so much data that we don't use as page and content creators. Like, I know on our page alone, there's so much data. There's so much data that Facebook gives us.
I don't think the mic cares.
I know, but it was gross because I saw it, so I'm sorry. As content creators, sorry.
No.
We I know that we don't, because it's overwhelming to see like all the data that it does give you.
And it takes time to go through all that and actually utilize it.
But I'm saying that for Facebook in particular, it's a good strategy, and I know because we've had to use this at work and have yet to use this for the Underbelly hours, but it's a good strategy to pick one of those data sets it's giving you and try to figure out something that could help you reach a new audience through that data set.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe focus on just that, like isolating it one at a time. But I have also noticed, I'm trying, just because I know that I don't want to feel like I'm flaunting about Facebook now. Facebook, out of all the platforms, especially recently, is the hardest to get through to your own, even people who like your page.
I feel like
You
that's
agree
also
with
the
me?
same with Instagram.
Instagram is better though.
A little bit better.
A little bit better. It's still difficult, but like, again, just speaking from experience from our Underbelly Hours Facebook page and also like just my work Facebook page and my music stuff, Facebook for some reason shows like 10% maybe of your audience that post, whereas Instagram it's like 20 to 25 or something, or sometimes even 30, but it's still better for some reason, for whatever reason, than Facebook. And maybe it's because it takes more time to scroll through Facebook. I don't know, but it's upsetting that not only is Facebook, you know, obviously being stupid about a bunch of the rules that it's kind of been implementing. Zuckerberg is suspicious as hell, and now it's also just continuously not really shown your own audience who likes your page, your posts. I just kind of feel like it's, out of all of the social media platforms right now, it's the one that's the weakest in that regard, you know. For
Hashtag
creators.
fuck the Zuck.
Fuck.
2021.
Hashtag fuck the Zuck. I like that. Actually, you know what's even, and then here's proof too, just like, so I'm not talking out of my ass. The marketing director at my, I'm not going to say too much actually, because I don't want to be in trouble. The marketing director though at my work mentioned on one of our latest meetings that Facebook, even for like their page, which is a lot more followers than our page on Underbelly Hours, they've had to start boosting just regular posts for it to reach the amount of people it used to reach.
Yep.
And there's nothing that we changed about our marketing strategies. If anything, we've gotten more like better at like targeting content that are like people who follow the page like. And we've gotten a few posts that went viral too, that reached like half, 60%, 70% of the people who like our page. But then after that, it's like Facebook just fucking punishes you for it or whatever because it went viral on its own, and then it'll show it to like 5% of the people who like the page. So
Yep.
Facebook is good for, I don't know, I feel like just having it still, but man, it's not the best at all, by far, for promotion if you're just using your page as like a tool for promotion.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing that it might have going for it musically is seems to be the favorite among artists for live streaming shows and concerts, and
It's just easy.
yeah, it's
Easy to interact too. I think Instagram, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like the format for going live on Instagram.
yeah.
Like, it's hard to see, the comments scroll by much quicker. It's hard to reply back to individual comments in the middle of a stream. So Facebook it's good for that.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
You know, it was helpful during still for those who have kept up with live streaming. Shout out to Pino Farina.
Pino!
Yeah, it's worked great in that regard. But other than that, you know,
And then,
my opinion on most of this is going to be social media sucks. I want to go back to brick and mortar type, like, let's go put up posters and play shows, and that's
well,
going to
playing
go into,
shows. Okay, if we're talking about promotion,
we'll get
playing
into
shows,
that.
bro,
We'll get into
is
that.
like the number one way.
Right. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
we'll get there. Let's keep talking for a second about social
Boots on the
media.
ground approach.
Yeah. But to remain in the online world for a second, I guess. So Facebook sucks. Facebook groups are okay, but they always inevitably turn into cesspools of people just going on to promote themselves and not partaking in conversation, not partaking in like listening. Like if you listen to my track, I'll listen to yours. It just kind of degrades no matter what the group is. Like even the only one I haven't seen that happen too much with is DIY Chicago, but that's because I think the admins are very strict about the posts that they remove, and there's also drama that I don't like that happens in DIY Chicago. But that's the one page, the one group that at least occasionally there is still conversations that are had on that page, and it's not as much like, I released a new single, hey, bye, and then they don't interact with that group ever again.
It takes a lot of people to, like, if you're really trying your hardest to engage people in conversation and stuff, well, they have to return that favor to you. They have to converse back with you. So, I feel like what happened was a lot of people who were actually honest and genuine and trying to build a community just ran out of steam because most people just either wouldn't respond or it, would just be filled with people dropping their links and bailing. And so then you get, once in a blue moon, a thread will kind of pick up steam and people will be commenting, but yeah, not anything that would really cultivate a healthy scene or community. And I feel like that the whole thing, stresses out to the actual local music scene here, Chicago, suburbs, stuff like that.
The mentality, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to pat all of our fans on the back. Our people actually enjoy listening to other local musicians. But I think we all know, especially if we recall back to when we were playing shows a lot,
especially in the
count
suburbs.
how many bands you know that actually stayed for the entire bill.
Whew. There's so much tea
I
there.
can count maybe 4, maybe, that I've played with that would stay for the entire show. And like check out the bands and actually like make friends and be like, yo, and instead of just like, hey, nice set, bro.
I think.
But actually be like, hey, man, what are you about? What have you been doing? Like, how long have you guys been together? We sound good together. Maybe we should book more shows together. Where are you playing next? I'd love to catch you again. Are you on Spotify? It's more like, oh, good set, bro. Yeah. Can you get the fuck off my stage now? I need to set up my amp and my 32 pedal board. Because I'm the next Jimi Hendrix. Don't you know? Okay, guy at Penny Road Pub.
Why is it always that? It's always the hole in the ground places too. Damn, yeah. And I will also say that I think, just as a quick shout out, I think I'm trying to think back through the Underbelly Hour live shows. Most of them, not all, we're not going to say who, but most of the bands.
I'll say who.
Not all.
I love saying who.
Don't. Most of the bands who have been on our like little live shows that we've put on have stayed for each other, which again I guess just harkens back though to the whole mentality we try to cultivate on our show.
Our fans are badass and actually love music and love the music. And here's another thing that kind of goes bigger picture. I feel like at a certain point, indie artists, indie bands, local artists, local bands, they get so obsessed and overwhelmed with, promotion and getting their music out there, and they like listen to all these music business podcasts and marketing podcasts and stuff like that, and they stop listening to music, and they stop actually like enjoying what they're doing and why they're doing it, what made them make music in the first place. What made you make music? Oh yeah, music. You like music, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's been a lot of people I know, and I was guilty of it at one point, and then I thought to myself, I'm like, when was the last time I listened to the fucking band?
Right? Yeah.
This is...
Mm.
I'm despicable.
Mm.
I'm disgusting. What a horrible piece of shit I am.
But this happens, the thing is,
And...
it happens to everyone. At a certain point, I feel like it happens for at least a second to everyone, but then you have to recognize that it's happening to you.
Yeah, but some people are
You
like...
gotta break out
They
of
don't
it.
break out of it.
Right.
And those are the people that are all about, like, check me out, check me out, check me out. And then somebody's like, oh, yeah, that's cool, man. It's kind of like what I do. You mind checking it out and be like, who the fuck are you? Get out. Check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out.
Mm-hmm. Or it's even,
All right, guy.
sometimes you even don't have that mentality, though. The problem is sometimes you get into such a promotions mentality where it's not even like, fuck you, I don't want to check you out. It's
I
just,
know,
I don't
I'm
have
being
time
vulgar.
to check you out. I'm like
Yeah.
so worried. I'm so focused. I don't have time for anything else.
This
because-
post only got 8 likes.
Right, exactly. And, you know, actually, if you ever get to that point, I highly recommend, what helped me a lot was, well, I mean, don't break up with your band, I guess, but try freelancing a little bit, or like collaborating with other people on projects. That
Bring the value back to the
yes,
music.
I know that
rather
that personally
than
helped a lot.
The stream count.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back to just the music.
Right.
Because it really shouldn't be about streams. I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to progress in your goals. You need to get people to like you and check you out. But those numbers, especially at like a low count, like doesn't mean shit. Especially with playlists, and we'll get into this too.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many people that I'll go and one song 100,000 streams, next song 2,000 streams. I'm like, okay, well, is that
Actually,
really
let's get
doing
into
you
it
any
right now.
justice?
Let's get into it right now
Yeah.
because we'll circle back a little bit to Instagram and TikTok. Instagram has like really nothing for it right
Yeah,
now. It's just a resume with pictures.
Right.
No, truly it is. There's
Yeah,
no
I
way
mean-
to build community on Instagram, truly.
Yeah.
Not really that much. But let's go to playlists because you brought up something really important, right? And that's one of the worries that I was kind of hoping to bring up too is... So I listened to this really interesting, just a tangent for a second. I listened to this really good podcast, and this is one I really recommend actually all of the listeners listen to as well, because it's a music business podcast that isn't crazy pretentious, but it's still run by people who have had years of experience in like big labels, and that's called Your Morning Coffee Podcast. It also has an obscenely long intro, so skip to like 3 minutes in to every episode because they always start with saying, hey, this is this guy, he used to, and then they go into their history, and then they have this intro music that's long, and then they have to talk about their sponsors. So sweet, you know, like, I understand you have to do it, but like it kind of takes a while. Your Morning Coffee Podcast, though, amazing stuff they talk about because they take different articles from like different music business related websites, and they dissect it, and they kind of go through it, and they say, okay, this is what this guy is saying, here's what it means, and this is the implications that it has. And they were talking about Spotify playlists on a couple episodes ago, and the fact that some of them are turning into something that is a little bit more organic than what it used to be. It used to be a lot of just genre-specific playlists, which doesn't really help necessarily a whole lot of people. But now they have kind of more vibe, I guess, based playlists. So it could be a playlist that has country, Americana, and bluegrass, but it's all like a similar vein of music that you listen to when you're like more relaxed or when you're more upbeat. And it introduces people to the like. It's good because it's the way that we kind of organically listen to music. We usually don't just listen to like country for 3 hours, right? You know, I mean, most people don't, right? You usually kind of yeah. I don't know.
A lot of people, I mean, a lot of people will just listen to country all day.
Okay,
all damn day.
Oh, okay. So
wall to wall country.
Well, maybe they do, but
go down.
It doesn't.
Just drive an hour south, and
Bro.
It's country.
Okay, so I understand that.
Okay, maybe not.
Even
an hour and a half.
all right,
2 hours.
all right.
No, it's just country.
Okay.
Country.
But then it doesn't let people grow in their music tastes, right? So at least there's
they just like
Spotify.
country.
There's Spotify playlists that are starting to branch out a little bit more into that. and they're talking about how some of these playlists get so popular, it's like 1 million people who follow it. But then I was thinking to myself, kind of as they were talking in the background, and here's the question I want to bring up to you, because I feel like you have a very strong opinion about this, is how much does that help
about everything?
How much does that help finding like the people who truly love an artist? Because you might like a song of that artist if you're on a playlist, but if you're on a playlist, you're usually like, oh my god, I like so many of the vibes, the songs on this playlist, I'm just going to listen through the whole playlist, and I'm not going to take the time to go through and pick out that artist, go through their discography, especially if the playlist is continuously being added to, which a lot of these playlists are.
Right.
So you just get, okay, like I'm feeling relaxed, I'll just go to this playlist instead of this one song from this playlist that I enjoy and then going into the discography. That's the worry I see with the playlist. And that's what leads to like the 100,000 streams on one song, for example, for an artist. And then they have like 2,000 or even, I've seen like 500, I've seen in the hundreds for some artists that are local, because they got one song on a playlist, which is great for them. And I'm sure they had some money, although it's probably not much from the streams, but they haven't created those like lifelong fans from being on that playlist. That's my worry. I don't know if you have different thoughts about it though. Or if you agree.
Yeah, no, I agree pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not really a playlist guy. I mean, I like my own playlists.
The Dan playlist.
I'm making a playlist for sunny days. And the genres are so wide and varied. But yeah, even when, like, let's say back when I had the setting on where you would finish an album or a playlist and then it would just go to the radio portion of it, and it would just select random songs for you within that, what they thought was that style. Or the, your daily mix playlists. I used to check those out quite a bit. And every time a song came on that I didn't know and I liked it, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I don't know, when you're listening to a playlist, you're listening for like a mood or something like that. So
you're
not
usually
really
not inspired to go click on that artist.
Yeah.
Unless you're somebody who likes to just is artist obsessed in general.
Music,
like
right.
I feel like we both usually fall into that category where like we like a song, we hear it, and we're like, damn, who's this artist? What else do they do? Who do they like? What are they influenced by? Like we get more into like the wormhole, but that's because we're like really like, into music.
Right, we're
not the average listener, which is probably who
we're bad examples.
Most people, well, because most people's music is going to be targeted towards the general audience, right? Who does not listen like that. They listen like for the mood, for the playlist, for the whatever. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how effective it is at creating the lifelong fans. It could help you with the streams, but again, streaming payout's kind of low right now, low right now, so will it really even...
Well, a lot of times, like, I don't know. I just don't find good stuff in those playlists that I like enough to go seek. Like, there's nothing that like sticks out so much in the playlist that I've checked out where I need to check out what else this artist has done. It's just not how I personally discover music. I'm usually discovering music by referral or... Like, I like listening to interviews from the bands I like, and usually they'll be mentioning bands they like or bands that they've just discovered, and then I'll go check them out because I trust their musical taste. Obviously, I like what they put out. I'm probably going to like what they're liking or influenced by. But, just recalling from people I know, I feel like there's not actually much new music discovery through playlists. Because like you said, they're putting it on either in the background to capture a mood or a vibe, like Starbucks or gym playlists. Right. Where nobody's really like paying attention or listening with the intent on like, ooh, this is cool, let me check out what else they do. And even the times that I have done that, it's usually like, oh, this is the one good song.
Well, okay, to play devil's advocate, I have heard that, for example, I haven't listened to the daily mixes that Spotify does in probably like 3 years.
Same. It's been a long time.
So what I've heard is they've gotten way better at curating those types of things. Maybe we just have to listen to it and figure it out on our own, but I just feel like I'm still convinced. I feel like even if it's stuff that's all full of good music, the likelihood of somebody clicking through and then listening to your whole discography is much lower than if it were like, recommended through word of mouth, recommended through a podcast that you really trust, or a host that you really trust, or a band that you really trust, or even just like honestly listening through a whole album at random. That often tells you a lot about whether you're gonna like the artist or not through a whole album. I don't know. It's interesting. So I guess the moral of this is Spotify playlists. I would encourage people, personally, just my 2 cents, not to freak out too much over them. If you feel like getting on them, fine. I mean, sometimes they work really well for people for a particular song. But for striving to get those connections, I would say interviews are really good. I would say getting people to do some sort of word of mouth for you is really good. And making connections, even within the scene, right?
Right.
Hey, you're friends with this band. Maybe they can get you onto this playlist or into this, sorry, not playlist. I meant to say live show. Onto this live show, or do a shout out for you on social media. I feel like those kinds of things are more genuine and make people check things out better than Spotify playlists.
You should also probably make good music too.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're joking, but
I'm not.
But
I'm
right.
not. There's a lot of shit on Spotify. Like, there's
Right.
a lot. You need to. I was talking about this with Josh. Now, this can be argued.
Right. I have a
This
feeling.
is
I already
very
know.
debatable.
I think what I'm gonna say.
There's no
response.
right or. Oh, I mean, I'm always right, but.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I know.
Josh here to keep you straight.
Well, with so much music out there, you need to be
I really
at least
like
of
this.
quality production value in order for people to get in that mindset of like, oh, this is a legitimate band.
Or if
you
you're
know,
gonna
'cause
go the
there's-
lo-fi route, go the total lo-fi
Yeah, go
route.
total lo-fi,
Like,
where
try
it's
not to
that's
do
the aesthetic.
in between, where there's some sort of mistakes that are apparent through, if you can catch like one mistake, that's fine. But if there are a couple mistakes in your song as you're playing it,
Yeah.
it just becomes difficult, right? Because there's so much competition.
Right.
You could have an amazing song, but people are so used to close to perfection now that, it's going to be hard for a first-time listener to want to go back to you if you have, 5-6 mistakes. Tempo changes where you guys aren't together.
Also, just the
false.
actual mix itself.
The mix
if it
itself.
doesn't stand up well, going back to the playlist thing, if you can't throw it into a playlist and have it sound
On par.
on par with everything else in that playlist, if you're a punk artist and you're in a playlist with Rise Against Me, Blink-182, Green Day, all these more pop punk kind of,
Well, just
not pop,
but
punk with more melodic,
highly produced.
produced
And,
shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your song comes on and it drops in volume, sounds way too compressed, or the instruments are getting lost, the cymbals are too loud or whatever, and it's just not a good mix. It's a good mix for a first release or a second, I get it, it's expensive to find good
Oh my god, yeah.
production, and
Right.
unless you want to learn it yourself, and that takes years and years and years of experience and practice. But it's the bar has been raised, or at least
Yes.
for the common consumer, the expectation is set at a level that, quite honestly, has probably been set since a long time, since the beginning of recorded music.
Right.
There's always going to be that professional level quality.
Yeah.
But before, there wasn't an absurd, ungodly amount of music
Yeah.
being put out where it's you could stumble across something that was a little
Unpolished,
but still be oh wow, I get what they're doing. This is awesome. There's too much out there now where that most people won't put up with that anymore, because there's so much out there. If it just sounds like a garage band that threw together $300 to get their buddy to record and produce their EP, it's
A single mic hanging from the ceiling.
yeah, it's either put demo on that,
Right.
so
demo.
people can bring down their expectations of the actual audio quality, or I don't know,
Or just
don't
go,
expect
like,
it to be like catch fire.
Well, yeah, I think it would be understand who your audience would be for that type of music.
Yeah.
It would not be the Spotify playlist. It would not be even like the SoundCloud, whatever curators. It would be the people who find music on maybe like on Bandcamp, who go to punk shows, who are into the lo-fi stuff. And this is actually something that took me a while to come to terms with, honestly, as not necessarily as a creator, but even as an enjoyer of music. I wanted to root for the underdog. I wanted to be like, it doesn't matter, your production quality, blah, blah, blah. But if you're looking at the average consumer, and you have to be, right? Until you know who your audience is, you have to be looking at the average consumer using and used to spoiled low-key by Spotify,
super spoiled.
SoundCloud, all this other stuff.
Well, this shit's
Understand
free
where they're
now.
coming from, and understand that if you want to be vying for their attention, you have to bring your quality up to their standard. Otherwise, you're just going to be complaining about it, and you're not going to be sure why.
Yeah.
You're going to be sad and frustrated, and you're not going to be sure why.
And your promotion game can be on point and everything, and you can be getting everyone to be clicking the link and streaming it
But then they
once, but then
there'll
they
be
stream
no,
it once,
right?
and then then they get it.
No
It's
return.
like, yeah, all right, and then it's like, yeah, so you had great numbers in the first 2 months, and then you don't have any returning because it's just, it didn't stick with them. It didn't make an impact on them because they're spoiled. They have a quality standard that's been ingrained to their brain because of the industry standard, and
just
now,
capitalism working its way. Honestly, just the fact that there's constantly better and better and better
right.
things, and people just grow very much accustomed to the better sounding things.
It's a double-edged sword because think about how great those things sound.
Right. I mean, we
There's some
enjoy.
great sounding shit.
We all enjoy listening to like music on our phones and shit that has really good quality, but then, right, you have to understand how your music will play into that too. And just to kind of clarify, I guess, it's not like Dan and I are coming from at this because we've had songs that have had 1 million streams on Spotify.
Absolutely.
But we have seen, and I want to make this very clear because we get a lot of requests, and I know I've mentioned this before on the social media. We do get a lot of requests from musicians who want to talk and want to, kind of us to stream our songs. We've listened to a lot of songs, okay, in the course of having this podcast, and we both love music. So I think that gives us some sort of grounding to be able to share all these thoughts with you guys and know that it's the truth and it's what's actually happening out there in the real world. Regardless of not having experienced ourselves as musicians, we just know from the listener standpoint, from the audience standpoint, from people who've had to listen to like 30 songs in a row, from emails,
There'll be plenty of times where it's like, this is a cool idea. I get where they're going with it, but it needs to be so much more. I'm not bobbing my head to it. I'm just like, I get what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's not enough nowadays. Right. It really isn't, because you have to grab people by the heartstrings. You
gotta grab them by the balls.
Sure, if you got balls, grab them.
Listen to my music.
By those balls. Anything? I guess. I feel like that's pretty much all we have to say. All I have to say about playlists. Anything else you'd wanna?
Yeah, let's move on to the main event, shall we? Or is there anything else you want to
Sure, I just want to quickly...
Okay.
I want to touch briefly on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram, really quickly, because there's nothing much to say for Instagram. Instagram's nice, but it's a resume. Instagram will promote your posts more if it's a very high-quality picture, if it's something literally that's it, visually aesthetic. But it's very hard to build a community through Instagram. I mean, even if we ask like stupid questions on the story, so hard because it's where people are so used to scrolling on that platform. It's not even reading anymore. At least Facebook you still read sometimes. Instagram you don't read anymore. No, for real. I mean, occasionally you get the very, very interesting blogger or whatever who you might stop by because you're that type of person. But for the average person, and definitely for the algorithm, it's not worth. Hello.
Sorry.
That's I don't think that's a nice look.
No?
No.
This isn't gonna get the clicks.
I don't think.
What about the other side?
You just look like you have like a hat growth.
I have a glitter. Alright.
So that's all for Instagram. Not very good, I've noticed personally from what I've seen from people for music promotion, apart from pretty pictures. Which if you have them, put them up. Great. TikTok is a little more interesting, but there's a lot of cons to it. Much better. IMO, I know how you feel, Dan, but in my opinion, much better for the collaborative aspect among musicians, at least. You can duet with people, you can respond to people's videos, you can make songs together, you can do stupid remixes, but and it's so much easier to get views on TikTok. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I mentioned earlier off screen here that like I just did a stupid TikTok about the fucking Chicago weather and I got hundreds of views in 2 days and I was doing nothing for it. It's such a stupidly like addictive maybe algorithm. I don't know, maybe that's what drives the views. Views are much easier to get. Cons though are exactly what Bella and the Whale were talking about. There's a lot of privacy issues with TikTok.
China.
And honestly, it's
China.
It's very disturbing. There's no restrictions too, really, from what I've seen for TikTok. Age restrictions, like content-wise. So parents
China.
have gotten very mad about their kids stumbling across really bizarre bullshit and getting. I mean, wasn't there like
In
a
China?
child trafficking ring, like that was started on TikTok or something?
No, that was Hollywood.
That was QAnon.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry, got my
That
stories
was Brad
mixed up.
Pitt.
That was
and,
Brad Pitt.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Obama.
Oh right, and Obama.
Right. Sorry, forgot about that part.
Yeah.
But so that's a con.
Did you get the latest Q drop?
Q drop. I can't. Q drop. That's so funny. Oh, sorry.
It's the real. It's what.
Is it? That's what they
It's
call
a
it?
real thing.
Oh
It's a real
my
thing.
god!
Oh my
I can't. Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
all 50 people that are still hanging on by a thread. 2 people at work. I know. I know these people.
They say Q
These
drop.
people exist. These people exist.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Okay, anyway, privacy concerns.
It's funny until it's just depressing.
Yeah. Anyway, so privacy is one concern of TikTok. Another concern is obviously what Dan's big concern was, and I understand and I see it and I hear it.
This is my
The
concern.
fakeness
Oh,
of
yeah.
TikTok is extremely evident.
Hold on, please hold. Alright, continue.
It's so easy. Even easier than even Instagram, which already pushes an emphasis on aesthetic and everything. TikTok feels like it's getting pushed that to the next level. It's not as innocent as Vine was anymore, where it's just like, I'm just gonna do some stupid video. It does feel like there's
Those
an
were the days.
expectation, because it feels like there's an expectation for like a certain quality level. You have to look pretty while you're doing a TikTok. You have to act whatever way
You have to
while
be
you're
hot.
doing a TikTok. A lot. It helps a lot if you're hot. I've noticed.
You gotta be hot.
80% of my feed is hot people, and I'm just like, well, interesting.
Sorry if you're not hot. I'm right there with you.
Right. Yeah. It's fucking weird. So definitely, it definitely prioritizes that type of content, but I see some glimmers of hope because it really, I mean, I've seen people make the sickest collabs from duetting each other
Oh, and I've seen
on
some of the
TikTok.
funniest clips I've
Yeah.
ever seen. I'm just not gonna take the time to go through it all.
Right.
I'll just wait for my deadbeat friend Sean to
To show
show
you.
me the best highlights.
Or like, subscribe to a YouTube channel that does like TikTok highlights.
Yeah, TikTok highlights. You know,
for sure.
how you know there used to be Vine compilations.
Yeah, Vine compilation of those TikTok highlight reels for sure,
Right.
for sure. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know. Personally, I am very neutral when it comes to TikTok. I don't know. I think it could be a good
Sorry, I just remembered a fucking
TikTok. Okay.
I can't
Okay.
talk about it.
That's fair.
It's too absurd.
Okay, that's fair.
Not appropriate for our
Not
topics.
appropriate for the uncensored version of our podcast.
No,
Oh shit.
it's
okay.
not.
All right, good to know.
Spicy.
Extra
Extra
spicy.
All right, main event.
Okay, main event. Live shows and gigging. Obviously, this was the number one concern. We've seen, just from people, if you just scroll through any sort of Chicago musicians Facebook group, the people that responded back to our questionnaire, and in general, just people we know, we're all concerned about live shows and gigging. To what extent is that going to come back 100%? What extent can we do it now? Yeah. As of March 4th, 2021.
Actually, I think it's the 4th of March.
Fuck you.
Isn't that the Ides? Or is that tomorrow?
It's like the 15th, isn't it?
Is it?
No, it's like
15th is the Ides of March? Daylight savings is 14th. We get another hour of daylight soon.
Nice. We are at the best stage right now, I think, of Chicago reopening until it's fucking open.
Because stage 5 is still not like entirely open. There's stipulations where it's like some events can happen.
Okay. Right. Not a lot of events can happen, but at least bars and restaurants are much more open. Excuse me, this beer is making me very burpy.
No.
Am I drinking it too fast? Maybe I am.
No, I've been having I've
burps?
been internalizing them where it's like
it's like more carbonated. I don't know. Anyway, so 50% capacity at bars and restaurants. It's good. Outdoor events have been extended, but it's still like max of like 100 people, and it's cold. That's where we're currently at with Chicago. Hopefully, we'll continue to be more and more open, but it is a little frustrating that there's some
positivity
degree
rate's only at 2.9%.
Yeah, that's really fucking that's good. That's good. It's amazing.
But for some reason, people are still believing that this is going to go on until 2022. Oh wait, maybe 2023. Oh wait, this is never going to end.
Well, because people
or do you just not want to go back to work?
People are. It's the whole echo chamber cycle thing.
Yeah, no, I was making a joke there. It's really how many people have assigned their identity to this stupid thing. That they will just disregard.
Identity politics.
And
we're all being played.
Facts to, their identity has to align with, this isn't over until it's, completely dead. Which is not going to happen. Not going to happen.
No.
That's impossible.
Scientists have said it's just going to be something like the flu that we're going to have to deal with.
It's just going to be another thing.
It's
almost at that point, arguably. It's reaching that point now.
Mm-hmm. It should, if things continue,
especially,
if
it continues in this trend.
Should be this year is when we can get under control. So people shouldn't be trying to attack people for starting to talk. I think about when are we going to see like big concerts come back. Yeah, I've seen people attacking people for wanting to even start this conversation.
I know. It's like people just want to talk about it, and you're being like, no, no shows this year, 2022.
Right.
And even then, maybe not.
And it's like who are you to have this, type of judgment? We need to all be kind of obviously following the rules of whatever scientists are saying, but we need to talk about this shit.
Except the scientists aren't really agreeing right now anymore.
Right. Which is also a problem. For sure. But that's like even further proof that means we need to be kind of tolerant about each other. Tolerant, right? We need to be like, okay, look,
and we also
there's disagreement within the scientific community, so let's, not be at each other's throats for something that we're all concerned about. Initially, because I believe those people are concerned about live shows too. But I just believe that, like what you said, they've kind of assigned so much of their identity to this policy of no anything until we have 0% COVID cases, that it's blinding them from being decent human beings.
Yeah, well, that's been happening this whole time. People have just been devolving into, what do you call them, ideologues?
Yeah.
Just stupid, just regurgitating whatever bullshit they read in the Washington Post that morning.
In the opinions section.
In the opinion section. Yeah. The op-ed, which is
opinions.
All opinion.
Yeah.
And usually full of shit. If I do say so. If I can voice my own opinion.
Why did you have to do that though? Man, why?
Because I don't know, my Beavis and Butt is coming out. Where was I going?
Op-eds. Bullshit.
Oh yeah, everyone's full of shit. That's all
everyone's full of shit.
Everyone's a fucking idiot. Can that be my stance?
That could be
You're
your
all
stance.
fucking idiots?
Yeah.
Alright, that's my stance.
I was curious as to look up.
I'm included in that.
as far as like
I don't know what I'm talking about.
NIVA,
I don't know shit.
the National Independent Venue Association. So Save
Who
Our
are they?
Stages.
What do they know? They're full of shit, too. Everyone's full of shit.
Give up!
This is the after hours, buddy.
My glasses fucking fell off because they were done.
Yeah.
Save Our Stages Act passed, but it's not, the funds haven't been allocated yet because the coronavirus bill
So they are full of
they're
shit.
still arguing about. So none of those funds have been given to venues yet, and they need that money.
Needed. Most of them are closed now.
Right. So if anyone wants to, first of all, donate to NIVA, they can. By the way, they're still taking money. But I would recommend somebody, okay, not to, shit on NIVA, but instead of going to
I'll shit on. I don't know.
the National
I love shit on people I don't know. Right, Josh?
the National
Yeah.
Independent Venue Association, just go direct to like Lincoln Hall or whatever, whoever you want to support. Just like throw your money at them instead of NIVA.
Take my money!
Right. And I bring this up because if they haven't gotten their money yet, obviously before any sort of independent venues can start opening their doors, they need to have the funds to pay back all their bills before they can think of throwing events. So
Yeah,
even
how many
if
months
we get,
has it been? How many bills have stacked up?
yeah.
Here's $1,400.
So a concern is even if we get things under control, or realistically we will get things under control this year, right? But with that,
I'm betting my money on it.
I don't know.
I'm betting
if-
my Bitcoin on it.
Right, I don't know if live shows will come back
I'm hit.
because the government has been so shitty about helping fucking economic multipliers.
I'm betting my GameStop stocks on it. My stonks.
My stonks. I bet all my stonks. So just another tidbit to throw out there. Still haven't gotten their money. So what does this mean though for the average musician? I guess let's kind of try and narrow it down. What do we think?
Free for all. Do whatever the hell you want. Kidding.
Well,
Not really. But
here's a
let's
tangent.
start a conversation.
Yeah, because here's a tangent. I just found out from one of my friends who is a booking agent for smaller acts around here and stuff. Also is in a cover band. But she has had she has had
kidding.
severe
Sorry.
health problems over the past 2 years, degrading eyesight, degrading a whole lot of shit because of her diabetes. She went on unemployment a few months into the pandemic because the booking agency job kind of stopped essentially. Found out a few weeks ago and just got the mail today because of course the IRS sends out the notice like 3 weeks ago, you get it 3 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
That for some small stipulation, because it's so new that like independent contractors and musicians and people who work independently can sign up even for federal unemployment aid. This is a very new thing.
That's like literally within the past year.
Right, within the past year. Some sort of error occurred and they said she has to pay back some of the unemployment that she earned during this time when she fucking didn't have a job and had medical bills to pay because her eyesight was so bad that she had to stop fucking driving because
Just
she
don't
was
give it
gonna
to
get it. Like, but I
Like
bring
who?
this up because we need to understand people are dealing with these types of bullshit situations. People are dealing, and even if it's not that extreme, people need to make fucking money. So to this point, if there's still not solutions that the government wants to give us, if somebody feels comfortable playing a small gig, I would say they have to be, personally, I would be worried about them. I would say be careful, make sure you mask and everything like that because coronavirus is still a problem. But I would say, I don't know your fucking financial situation. The government's not helping a lot of people. If you need to do this, go fucking do it because whatever, that's my view on it right now. I don't think we should be, I've seen a lot of people start to do indoor gigs and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know of one that happened tonight.
Right. I know of a guy
I know of one that's
who
happening
has,
tomorrow.
yeah,
These things are happening, people. Like
Right.
all these people that are screaming, it's like shows can't be happening. No shows are happening. Like I'll see there's a DIY tour postings group where people
I'm in that,
are
and they have that conversation
they're
all
just
the
asking
time. All the
questions
time.
like, hey, we're starting to look at shows in some of the states that are opening up. Does anyone know if they're like masking or if it's like a free for all or whatever? And you just get a bombardment of comments. It's like, no shows. You shouldn't even be thinking about shows right now. And it's like, the guy was just asking, like,
Yeah.
are these...
Proactively, too. Because maybe he's asking because he doesn't fucking want to go to a show where it's not going to be, like, any sort of mask or whatever. He's asking, do we know any information? Is there plenty of people masking? Is there social distancing? Do people, like, is this a state where it's a very small, like, where it hasn't even been hit hard by coronavirus? All these things are important.
Or it's been hit hard and it's just, like...
Right.
It's, like, done. You know, like...
Right.
Do people forget what, like, Florida? Florida's, like, open. Florida's completely just... Like, they're not doing anything. They're just open. Like, people will go down to Florida wearing a mask, and Floridians will be like, what are you doing? We've been over this, too, in previous episodes. Like, this has been a recurring issue of people just getting off on telling other people. It's like, you can't be working right now. You shouldn't be like, what?
Are you fucking kidding me? You can't be working right now?
You're playing shows right now? We are at a point,
Right.
and we've actually been at this point before, but we are at an even
Bigger
point now,
Yeah.
where if you just look at the numbers and look at the facts, the statistics, cases are dropping. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that for some sick reason. Cases are dropping. Vaccines are going up. Those things are going to keep going. It's going to have an inverse correlation. Vaccines are going to keep going up, and cases are going to keep dropping down. I just have a hunch. I don't know why. I read some journals or something. And also the fact that it's like, think about all the people who have had it now. They are also immune. It's not just like, oh, only like 7% of the state has been vaccinated. Like, we're so far from, like, okay, well, also think about maybe the 20% that have already gotten it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard
And have
arguments that
immunity.
people who have had COVID aren't always immune.
Yeah, except for, like,
But
if you actually look at the numbers of people who get it again, it's like
it's very low.
0.00001%. Like, it's so rare for you. But
Yeah, you have to have a pretty...
we're
You have to have
digressing.
already pretty much either being older or have to have problems with your immune system to get it again. It's such a ridiculously small amount of people who get it twice.
Yeah. So we're at a point, positivity rate 2.9% in Illinois. Just Illinois. That's as low as it's been since last June, where that was the lowest since the thing started. So we're reaching like the low points again, and thankfully, I mean, people thought that it wasn't going to drop until the warmer months came, like May and
This
June.
is a really good sign.
And it's already, it was at 3% in like mid-February when it was the coldest frickin' temperatures. You just got to look at these things and then you got to extrapolate that into why can't people make decisions for themselves at this point? Why can't people take the risk? Especially the people, think about all the people who have had it and they don't live with anyone that is vulnerable. Why can't they go out and support their favorite restaurants or favorite businesses? Like, if they're being responsible and not going into and seeing people that are vulnerable and they know who they're coming into contact with and they can kind of keep track of that.
Right. I think the
I think it's unfair to condemn people for wanting to get back out there and actually live life. There's precautions now.
Right.
And the more you condemn people and throw shade at them, and you're just gonna divide this even further. And then you're gonna have a split music community, which is already kind of shit, honestly. Brutally honest, what scene do we have, really, except for some awesome homies that actually care about each other? Other than that, what really is going to come back? It's so divided after this. It was already kind of like not strong before. And then you have now you have split. You have people that think it's like, well, why can't I go to my favorite pub and play, to 10 people in a pretty big space when people are masked and they just want to hear me with an acoustic guitar, play some tunes. Like, are we not at the, why can't we be talking about that and finding ways that, like, yeah, that seems fair. People can, give people their own agency.
Yeah. Here's the thing, too, I think, and people need to recognize that when people say, especially going out to play shows, they don't always mean, we're going to go out and play to 500 people in a small crowd. Like, it's not, when they say that, it's very rarely the situation's pre-pandemic, right? When it's, like, super crowded, no, precautions whatsoever. A lot of times, people are taking the precautions, but you shut them down before you let them explain what those precautions are. I will also go on record to say that, personally, I don't agree with the people who are not taking any precautions, and doing, like, something, not to shout out Brower House again, but I see them popping up all the time, and that's the one place that is getting shade that I agree with getting shade for, personally, because they are consistently hosting events with large amounts of people that just don't give a fuck about anything. I don't agree with that, but I will say that for most people who are just trying to go to, and start to do shows on a smaller scale again, starting to do shows who, right, don't come into contact with vulnerable people who have a sense of responsibility, don't assume you know that person and assume you know what they're going to do. I would say why can't we, like, start assuming that people know what's best for themselves and the people around them? Like, they care about the people around them and will plan accordingly, right?
Some of it's bitterness. A lot of people I know are in, like, the arts and other things that have been told to shut down and they can't operate yet still. And then they see people that are just taking it into their own hands and opening, and they'd be like, well, you can't do this. I've been shut down for this long. It's like, okay.
No, the government
technically, they've been shut down for this long, too, and they just decided to just say, no,
right.
I'm going to get run out of business. I'm going to try and do this as safely as possible, but I'm not getting any help here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make the decision and take it upon my own hands and do the best I can. Nobody's telling you that you can't. They are telling you can't, but it doesn't mean you actually have to.
Right, because the government, it's so evident. Bros and broskis and whatever.
And
Brosafinas. But they don't care about you. They fucking don't. So it hurts me when I see people dying on their swords saying we have to, nobody, not even people who are doing safe shows, nobody can fucking do shows because I'm starving, I don't get no fucking help from the government, whatever. My career has been put on hold indefinitely. Like, dude, if it's taking them fucking how many months now to do a COVID relief bill, we have to start helping. We have to start, and that keeps shrinking. That keeps fucking shrinking. I'm not trying so hard not to hit the table right now. We have to start thinking for ourselves and helping ourselves. And as a music community, we all, I think, have a deep sense of empathy for each other and understand the struggles. It's a hard life trying to do some creative stuff with your life. Why can't we understand that and, like, be empathetic towards each other and say, yo, let's just start slowly moving towards normalcy in the realms that we can, and trust that people will be responsible about it, there's gonna be assholes no matter what you see on either side, but for most people, we're just trying to be responsible about it, right? We're just trying to go back on that path and be responsible and still live our lives, because we can't keep stopping our lives until we get a magical $2,000 check, not even $1,400 check from the government that who knows might be sent
if you don't make
in August.
Much.
Right. Or like my friend, you might be told that even though you're a musician, contractor, independent contractor, you still have to pay back some of the money owed because there's some mistake somebody did it with their taxes. Like, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, stop with the hate and the spitting venom every chance you get, because, one, nobody really gives a shit about what you think. About, if they're going to be playing shows, they're playing shows. They at this point,
right,
what you say just makes you look like more of an asshole.
So why can't we just work towards something where we can have that performers perform in a way that's still, like, safe with the knowledge of what's happening, right? the knowledge that everything's going down, etc.
And 2,
Sorry, it's such a burpy beer.
everyone who's playing like identity politics and identifying themselves with abiding by a disease that's eventually going to go away.
Not go away,
Like,
but eventually
well,
gonna become
but-
like a
right.
cold or
But-
flu, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that like tying your identity so close to that, or your politics so close to that, the world is going to move on without you, and it already is. So I don't know. Do you want to be part of the group that still just keeps holding on to cynicism and hate and just trying to tell people what to do, or are you gonna just try and actually join a conversation and talk to people and have any kind of empathy and
Because eventually we're gonna have to live in the post-COVID world, and what does that
with
look
each
like?
other?
Yeah. Part of this rant just feels like we've already repeated all this before, so I'm just trying to think, like, can we add some other thing to end this? But I don't know if we can. I mean, honestly,
Everything is going to be okay until the Civil War starts.
Yeah, at that point we might need to figure something.
But
something else
until
out.
then, it's going to be great. And then another thing's going to happen, and then we're going to split.
And then you can catch me
and
personally.
then, you know, maybe we're better off as two
It's-
different countries.
escaping to Minnesota in the middle of
Honestly,
nowhere.
maybe we're just too big. Maybe we should just
Low
split.
key, have you also thought about that, y'all? Have you also thought about the fact we're just too fucking big of a country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read Michael Malice.
Michael Malice.
Yeah.
I'll check
He
him out.
actually makes a pretty good case of just like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be a huge country. Maybe we should kind of split off and kind of like, you know, all of Europe isn't one country.
And we're so much bigger than all of you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Huh.
The only way you can run a country this big is if you're a dictatorship, like China or Russia. At a certain point, I'm talking out of my ass here, but at a certain point, maybe the whole
Let's be one country doesn't work.
There's a little too much separation.
There's gonna be like a north.
And the internet has totally made that worse. And
Mm-hmm.
just
But
give me
then it
my
would be like a
$1,400.
North America and a South North America. How did it look like?
North
America and South North America. Middle North America, because North America is Canada.
Yeah.
I figured you'd split it at the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
East and west.
And then, okay, so east.
No. You'd have to split it north.
No,
and south.
yeah, it
the
has to
divide
be
is
north
so
and
much
south,
more
bro.
clear. North and south.
Yeah. Even California might even. Well,
No,
California might be its own.
California's be its
It's
own
gonna be its
country.
own country. And
Dude,
Just
just
gonna split off and hang out with Hawaii.
yeah, seriously, it's about time. Like, last little fun tidbit.
I'm
Just-
scared.
It's kind of,
I'm
in a very
scared.
cynical, disgusting way, it's kind of been fun seeing just California crumble and implode in on itself. Like, think about it. LA used to be the place where you go to make it.
Yeah, all the
And
rich
now-
assholes.
Now LA is the place you go to go live in a tent and shoot up and get syphilis and hepatitis.
Oh my god. That's going pretty far, bro.
I mean, what does LA have to offer?
Yeah.
They were the one state, well, not the one
That
state,
is
but
pretty
they're one of
interesting.
the few states that could have been open this entire time because of outdoor dining. Their coldest day is maybe 60.
Mm-hmm.
Assholes.
Well, they
And they
they,
were still
they
like,
did
no,
get the
no
cold front,
outdoor,
yeah.
no outdoors. They just opened outdoor dining. Like, what the fuck? New York was outdoor in 40-degree weather.
That's New York, though. New York people are built different. They build different
That's
out
what-
there in New
That's what I'm
York.
saying. It's kind of been fun to see LA just been, like, exposed as a bunch of...
I felt sad for it because, like, a
I
lot of people
laughed.
go to LA to, like, make it and shit.
Yeah, and they
it's-
always fail.
They don't need to go there
Right.
to make it.
It's fun to
And
see
they
it.
realize it after
die.
they spent, like, all of their income. You know, it's sad.
It's a thing of the past.
It really is. It's
It's not
like
coming back.
all of the what's it called? Like democratization almost of like music making and stuff. It really like why do you need to be in LA? Billie Eilish, I mean, she was in California and her parents had connections, but
Why do you
other
bring
people.
up Billie Eilish?
Well, okay,
That
maybe
is the
that's the worst example. Khaled. Let's look at Khaled.
Why Khaled? Oh wait.
Khaled?
Not DJ Khaled.
Not DJ
No,
Khaled.
not DJ Khaled.
The
Khaled,
singer Khaled.
singer Khaled,
Okay.
R&B guy from Chicago who got big because somebody blew up his SoundCloud channel from
For
Chicago.
Chance the Rapper.
Or Chance the fucking Rapper. Beautiful guy. Amazing. Wonderful. Still fucking, and I love him for the fact that he's refused over the years to sign labels. It's amazing. I love him for that.
You don't need labels.
And then occasionally he'll like, now he doesn't release that much music anymore, but he'll be like, yeah, I know Justin Bieber. He's on my phone. Let's just do a quick song together. Drop it last year. Nice. Moving on with life. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Nobody needs LA anymore.
No.
LA, the empire has fallen.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good sign.
All right, see y'all in Austin.
I guess, is there anything like, what do we want to end on? Is that what we're ending on? The Empire has fallen?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
funny.
Okay.
Fuck LA.
Yeah, I guess that's wrapping up another episode. We don't have a roast and toast, so that'll be it. A more serious episode today for the
We
Underbelly.
started out fun and
Yeah.
ended it fun. I like throwing shade. Remember,
Well, I think
my
it's
opinion is 80% shit. Bullshit. Talking out of my ass. I like to stir the pot. I like to antagonize and debate and make all of you fume.
well, we have to be though, because people are discouraging debating now. And so hopefully we raise some points that made you think. If you disagree with us, let us know, I guess, and why. That'd be interesting to know for us.
Dan's an asshole.
Let
he
us
doesn't get it.
let us know in either some sort of
Alright.
comments or email or whatever. Also, let us know if there's any topics you want us to cover in the future. Otherwise, we'll be continuing with our regular programming of different artists that we interview. We got a lot of really interesting people coming up. We have everybody from like rock to contemporary classical musician coming in at the end of the month, which should be fun.
And then Machine Gun Kelly's coming on to talk about his high school dropout, whatever bullshit that was. Kidding.
Oh my god.
That was fun.
Dude, I never
That was
want.
not fun.
I
mean,
never-
it wasn't fun experiencing. It was fun ranting about it.
Yeah. Out of all the people I want to see or have an interview with, Machine Gun Kelly is
Oh, I'd
as
totally
far
interview
away from that list
No.
as any living
Get him on
human
the show.
being.
Let's get him on. I want to talk to him. I want to be like, where do you get off?
Also, a picture of himself.
Yeah. It's like, who the hell do you think you are?
To each their own. Thanks for listening.
No.
Tune in.
Not each their own. You have to abide by what I say because I have a Facebook account with all the right identity politics in my profile picture. My opinion matters.
Moral of the story.
I'm right.
Hello, goodbye. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you think. Also, we got some cool shit coming up. Hope you have fun with it. Yeah.
I'm Dan Dick. I'm an asshole. Bye.
I'm Adela, and it's been an episode of the Underbelly Hours After Hours. See you next week!
Bye.
Boy.
Are you tired of listening to the same bands over and over again?
Over and over.
Stop listening to what mainstream media chooses for you
You filthy casual.
and try something new. Tune in to the Underbelly Hours for exclusive interviews, unreleased content, and more from the depths of Chicago's underground. I'm Adela,
I'm Dan.
Take off your coat and stay a while.
now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you stream your podcast, thanks to Ox Audio, a Chicago-based podcasting platform.